Well, happy Sunday, everybody. My name is Scott Medina. Welcome to our YouTube channel where we are live every Sunday right after normally a one-wheel video on my personal channel. It ain't the case today. Today, we are solely on this channel because it's a holiday weekend here in the States, and we just didn't put out a video. But, never alone, there's a heap of people inside the garage here and a garage in Mississippi. We're fully loaded. We got Joey to my right. Woo! We got Lily the Grinch to the left.
Oh, the
I'm
Grinch.
not a Grinch.
Lily, I can't see you with that big baby Christmas tree.
I know, that's the point.
Oh, wow.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That was a joke. I can't see
That's
you
so
either.
hurtful.
Yeah,
Let me
wait.
move
I
one
thought
of
you
my
said.
branches.
I thought you were telling me, Scott, that you had like lights on your tree.
I don't have lights on my tree.
Wrong.
Or you,
I wouldn't want to distract from the spinning Viking head as we are 9-2. Are you kidding me? I want that to be seen.
Where's your? Didn't you say you have decorations for your Christmas tree?
No, I just have a Christmas tree. It's going to be slowly
He
over
said
time.
he has an ornament.
I have an ornament.
That's what I meant.
Yeah,
But
my
that's
ornament
not an
right
ornament. How do you hang that?
here. There's a little. I mean, seriously,
So
it's not
hang
that
it.
complicated.
Can you show us how you hang it then?
No, I don't have something on there. I don't have the hook.
Oh, so you can't.
But see,
hang
like
it.
this thing is sweet. You replace a light. It's so far away. There we go. You plug it into a light, and then it's the Santa Claus is
Does it
answering
still work?
machine, and you press it, and it's like ho ho ho.
Can you try it?
Nice.
Can you show us?
No, not right now. It's just too complicated. Sorry, there was jokes going on in the chat with Scott doing his hair this morning. Is that why we're not getting this thing started?
That's why it looks so good right now.
Yeah, this is 8 hours of them. Actually, I think it was 6 hours in the making. But I did see people talking about the Viking game, talking about Thanksgiving. I hope everyone watching this morning had a fabulous Thanksgiving. Joey, what was one of the things you did for Thanksgiving? You actually said 2 days ago was your worst day with your cold, so that was like Thanksgiving.
Yeah. But I was still at Thanksgiving. I had some
Infecting everyone.
some great family time and some great turkey and mashed potatoes and
What was
gravy.
your favorite
and
part of the meal?
corn and I like to just mix it all together.
Me too, Joey. Someone called me a psychopath the other
no,
day. 'cause
you're
I
not
do
a
that.
psychopath.
I was like,
Like
that's a little harsh.
Like the mashed potatoes and corn and carrots
Yeah,
and
it's-
turkey and just
They're meant to
Yeah,
be
that's
mixed.
called stuffing.
No, it wasn't stuffing.
But that's what it's called.
Oh.
When you mix everything together, it's pretty much just what stuffing is. They just cook it together.
Okay, yes, that's good.
Yeah, it's
It's
great.
good
Okay.
stuff. I usually I'm not a huge fan of turkey, but it was good. I heard Scott's turkey was unbelievable.
It was really good.
I don't know about that. I mean, it's just I didn't raise the turkey.
You did a good job.
But you smoked the turkey.
I smoked it.
and
That's
then
right.
you fried it.
I did a smoke fry again, which you smoke to 125 degrees, and then you fry it the rest of the way to 160. And then we smoked one, and we spatchcocked it, where you break it in half.
You take it to the chiropractor basically.
Yeah, we remove its
Interesting.
spine, and then remove its breastbone, and then lay it flat on the grill.
Wow.
Bam!
Bam.
Look-
I heard of a workout that people did, and they just did it until the turkey finished frying. Isn't that awesome? I thought that was great.
Yeah, but I
was
wonder
like,
how
we
long
need
it.
to-
I don't know
They
how
said
long
it took like
takes.
25 minutes,
Oh yeah,
which
Yeah.
is good.
that's got
Good
my
amount of time.
least favorite turkey. I think I'm not a big fan of the fried. Smoke fried is okay. It's kind of the meshing of two worlds. Because you get the smoky flavor and a little bit of fried, but that smoke fry or just the smoked one. All right, Lil, what was your best part? We want to hear it in the chat as well from you guys. What your best part of your Thanksgiving are? What you like? Let's go. What are you chuckling for?
They just kept the camera on me in like a frozen spot, so I pretended to be frozen. I would say I would say my favorite part was probably the turkey.
Oh,
It was really good. It was really good.
I
I was like, tryptophan,
Where are
get
the
in
Vikings
my
games?
belly.
or the Vikings game.
Yeah, I forgot about the Vikings game.
Yeah, Nick
Nice.
Orlando, he wasn't a big fan of that. He's a New England fan. He lives up in that neck of the woods.
We beat
He also
ya.
fell asleep before the end of the game.
Well, that's
Oh
not
my
a good
gosh.
fan. I couldn't even sit down.
Yeah, did anyone nap on Thanksgiving?
No.
Any siestas?
I
did
closed
not.
my eyes
You did?
No.
But you were sick.
for like 20 minutes on the couch sitting
I
up.
could-
I didn't sit down
Wow,
on the
what a
couch.
dad move, Joey.
I know.
She just called you
It was
dad.
a straight dad. move.
I didn't sit down on the couch until 11 o'clock Last person left the house. We had 30-some people here. And at 11 o'clock, I sat down and I was like, this is my first time sitting down today.
Sounds like Tim Bailey, my wife's dad.
He's a good man.
He is a great man.
Yeah,
You guys are great men.
Who? Tim and me?
You guys.
Or Joey?
You guys are great
You
men.
know-
No, I'm
hold on.
obviously a lazy man. I was on
right?
the couch.
Like when she, like what she said earlier was like a put down, right? Wasn't she putting you? She's like, oh, you're being like a
No,
typical dad move.
Yeah, but
Yes.
I don't take that as I'm not offended.
You shouldn't be, but that is like
I
it's.
literally just said you both are great men. I'm confused.
Yeah, well, you're trying to make up for calling Joey lazy.
I didn't call him lazy.
No, in so many words, you did. Wait, you
Well,
know what? Who we don't have in here, and he hasn't said one thing. Dwayne just gets lost, I think, in the entertainment of it all. Just he's got to be smiling there in
Dwayne's
Mississippi.
probably like, how long can I stay
Yeah, see,
quiet?
he's just sitting there smiling, going, "Here these guys are, just going on." Dwayne, all you gotta do is
I'm enjoying the entertainment. Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Dwayne. This is Dwayne, everyone, in Mississippi. The dude was in Oklahoma, right? Last week, running a marathon. Last weekend, running a marathon, 26.2 miles. He's going to do it again this Saturday. The dude's a machine. He's got so much hardware, it's ridiculous. And he's going to have one more, the St. Jude Marathon, happening in Memphis, Tennessee Saturday. It's going to be pretty cool. I'm going to be towing the line with the man. He's going to drag me to the finish line.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Good
I don't
luck.
know about dragging you to the finish line.
the dude's a beast.
Dwayne, you're a great man.
No.
Dwayne, you have like the lightest pair of shoes created currently, the Adidas carbon fiber shoes. I'm running in Newtons.
Those are heavy shoes.
They are.
I can hear you running from like a mile
I know,
away.
right? Like they.
It's like this.
Why don't you get lighter?
They got
shoes?
5 lugs on them. They're really light, actually, but they aren't. They aren't this carbon fiber technology that's supposed to make you faster.
I need every advantage I can get to keep up. So.
Oh, now. This is not true.
No.
I'm hanging with you next week, Dwayne. Where you go, I go.
Okay.
I can't decide if that's encouraging or not. Like, that's really my question, is if I'm hanging with you and Paul, are you guys being annoyed with me that I'm probably going to be messing around a bit? Or
No.
Are you gonna-
I think knowing how you've trained and looking at some of your long runs, like if you're hanging out with us, like, wow, you put your body through a beating for a little bit slower of a run than you're used to. So it'd be a really easy run for you.
It would be fun. It would be fun.
This is exciting. Can't wait to hear about it.
Towing the line next Saturday. Okay, so, hey, if you would love to send a picture and we'd love to see where you are, maybe you are like Dan and Jennifer Woodham in Tampa, Florida, and you got pictures of palm trees. It makes us feel warm inside. If you have such, we would love to see those things. You can text a picture to the number that's on in the text message.
651.
Thank you.
276.
I think we have a picture. There we go.
8797.
651-276-8797. This can be great. What is Lily's taking a picture of stuff? What are you doing? You're taking a picture of yourself.
With the Christmas
She
tree.
took a selfie. Unbelievable. Normally we're all in it, but not today.
It's with my Christmas tree.
Okay, hey, so send those pictures in if you're brand new around here. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're 5 away from 500.
I know.
That's
I
pretty
saw
cool.
that this week. I was like, let's go, baby.
Yeah, it'd be sweet to break 5. I really would like to hit by like June. It would be sweet to hit 1,000.
I think we could do that.
That would be sweet.
Go
gotta
tell all
put
your
some-
friends to subscribe.
Lil, what? Can you sing the Christmas carol that says, "Go tell it on the mountain"?
Go tell it on the mountain. Quickly Google for
You don't know the rest of the.
I was gonna really.
Wait, that's all you know is that line. That's the title.
Go tell it on the mountain. I can't find the lyrics.
Like the most famous man ever. That's his name coming up.
What's up with the title? Question mark.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that's like somebody. Hey, can you sing "Hark the Herald Angels Sings"? Hark the Herald Angels Sing. That's it.
Got it. Go tell it on mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it
What are they
on
telling?
mountain that Jesus
Hey!
Christ is born.
Okay.
Wild shepherd. I don't
that's too-
actually know the continued melody.
Yeah,
once I
thank
get
you.
into the-
Save us all.
I know. I'm not a singer. If you,
No,
I know
you
it
are.
could be surprising to you all, but I just wasn't blessed with the gift of singing.
What? You sing all the time. Like, we're in the office and she puts on her favorite Taylor Swift song, and then all of a sudden she's belting it louder than Taylor Swift in the office.
Shake it off.
Unbelievable.
Shake it off.
And I do. I
feel
shake
like
it
I
off.
took a quick turn as soon as we went live.
I wanna shake it off that you're singing so loud. I'm trying to get it off me. Get it off
Let
me.
me shut this window I made. I don't want to see you anymore.
Yeah, I'm about to just knock that thing off.
No, this is your Christmas
Okay,
tree.
Lily
We are.
Lily wanted to plug that Christmas tree in this morning, and she has a 100-foot extension cord plugged into that tree, only to that tree. And if you're not privy to extension cord stuff, there are thin ones, right? They're usually brown and
Did
black.
you say privy?
Yeah, in on how it works.
That's a good one.
Really thick ones, like quarter-inch, half-inch, are made for high volume, a lot of voltage flying through, and this cord is that. It's a quarter-inch thick, and it's meant for.
Basically, it's like charging your iPhone with an iPad charger.
No, it's like charging your iPad with a
same
Tesla charger. That's what it's like. It's really a lot. So I hope you're sending in pictures. We're gonna load those up here in a moment.
Come show us where you're watching.
This is how it's today. We're gonna switch it up on you. So hopefully, go get your old school Bible. This is my paperback, or it's a leather back, but it's when we say old school, it's no longer digital. I have those, but there's something about this. Go get your Bible and go to Luke. We're going to come back to 1 Peter after the Christmas season. We're going to read through the Christmas story, but we're going to do it the way we've been doing it and give you a lot of background, a lot of information, a lot of like, whoa, those are pretty wild, cool moments. And so get that, sit down, and we're going to use that. We're going to use the author Luke's perspective of and the investigation of, is Jesus who he said he was? That was what Luke set out to do. You'll see here in Luke chapter 1. Verse 1, we'll read it, and we're going to dive into that. So that's pretty exciting. Lily, I have no list of anything of like where we're headed, like song names or any of those things. Do we have any of that stuff? Do you? Oh, she's getting up. You could have just said what it was. Lily just knocked over a huge light.
Oh my God.
Like, it's a mess here, okay? She's got turkey hangover. The light is actually now pointed to the floor.
Oh goodness.
Golly, Lily. Yep, just do it. I wish we need to put a camera right up there so you guys can see what's going on. You can see your shadow. Here we go.
That was crazy.
Thank you for that.
It's bad.
What today is? You can't fix it
It
now.
was just a hot mess. It's all right.
Nope, it's over. You're not gonna fix it, Lil. It's over. You've definitely created shadows on yourself. Okay, Dwayne, what was your favorite? We didn't ask you. What was your favorite part of Thanksgiving?
I think this is the first time. So we moved to Minnesota for 3 years. So, didn't have Thanksgiving with the family. So having Thanksgiving with the family was definitely fun. But the sad part is I wasn't part of the Mendenhall Thanksgiving. So that was kind of a bummer. So it was kind of a bittersweet thing.
Yeah, we talked about that last year. You were up here. We played football. You got the smoke fried turkey situation going on last year.
Very good. Very good.
And
Yeah.
it was a freak negative 20 degrees, I think, last year on
What?
yeah, it got so cold last
Look
year.
at Dwayne. Dwayne's like, no.
What?
No.
It was
No.
cold. I wasn't here. I don't remember.
Hey, you know what I love about technology is that you can go to.
What was the weather?
No, I don't. I just click this. I changed the year, and we're gonna go. I don't know
I didn't know
what
you
the
could do
date
that.
was last year. I'm gonna go the 25th. What day is that? Okay, whatever the 25th or the 25th last year was 19 degrees.
It's pretty cold.
That's Minnesota weather.
Yeah, so
It was warmer this year.
it was 12. It was 12 degrees on Thanksgiving last year. But what did it feel like? -1. So I was off by 19 degrees. All of you saying it was 35 degrees. I guess I win. I was closer.
Oh my gosh. Someone in the chat said technology, a way to prove Scott's right.
Yeah, baby. Most of the time, like I just
Except for that one time.
that one time, one out of like. So if I'm batting 99%, wouldn't you want me on your team? Get out of here. I'm gonna move my Christmas tree to double this up. That's it. Now,
Oh, wow. Wow.
feel it?
It's
Do
so-
you feel it?
It's so puny.
You like that?
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
All right. We got pictures? Or what are we thinking?
No, we're gonna go to a video. We're
Can't
gonna go to a
wait.
video.
Let's do it.
All this shenanigans. See what happens. We don't have a one-movie video. We spend the first 15 minutes jacking around.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's the holidays, weekends, and we love all these people, all these amazing people.
We love the peoples.
The people. Okay. Unbelievable. This is special. So if you're here,
This is special.
you're gonna love it. If you're watching midweek, you're gonna be like, "What is this?"
What is happening
I thought
right
this was
now?
a place they talked about like
This is a
the
podcast.
Bible and stuff, and we do. We get there.
This is the podcast. We got the cool special mics. That's what makes it a podcast.
The mics do. It's the mics. Yeah. This. If you want to have a podcast, you just get mics like this, and bam, you have a
That's what I
podcast.
thought. That's what I
No,
thought.
no. I do chuckle when I watch podcasts. Just side note, when people
I don't
have
like watching podcasts.
don't have like someone like Dwayne, we have to have headphones on so we can hear Dwayne because he's streaming into us. But if it was just us in the studio, we don't have headphones. Why? Because we can hear each other. So when I watch a podcast and they're sitting straight across from the person, I do chuckle that they have headphones on. Because it's like you don't really need those.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the minute we have interviews and we're done, we take our headphones off.
I don't even have them on right now.
That's not true.
Do they do that so they can hear what it
So
sounds?
you're not listening to Dwayne?
Dwayne's not talking.
Dwayne, how do you feel about that?
I've been
She's just-
talking. I've been
I
talking
can
the
hear
whole
him now. I
time.
Yeah,
can hear
she's
him now.
unplugged
Dwayne.
you.
No, Dwayne.
You wouldn't
Dwayne-
even know it in the background. Like just because his face isn't on there doesn't
Dwayne,
mean he's
we
not talking.
match.
You do.
We match, Dwayne.
Who wore it better?
The Grinch.
Wait, I can't
Is that why
The
they're calling you
Grinch.
the Grinch?
Yeah,
Just 'cause
see?
you had green?
Yeah, thank you.
Grinch.
Yeah,
No.
the Grinch is green. Lily's green.
Yeah,
Grinchy.
this is my Grinch. Well, Grinch turns to be happy and
yeah,
jolly.
well, at
So,
the end.
like,
so we're like just
we're
kicking
a
it off.
fan of the Grinch as well, and I love the Grinch. I like him. He jazzercises, and he's funny. He's funny.
Hey,
the
our
Grinch is so funny. Have you ever watched it? Have you ever actually watched Joey?
Okay, so
I
Lily,
can't- I
question
can't
for
believe
you.
this is happening.
Marshall is 2. So introducing him to the Grinch, like which one do we watch?
Yeah, Lily.
Um,
Which one?
You're
You're such a big fan. What one?
Do you mean between Jim Carrey and the new one?
But there's the original one as well.
Yeah, the cartoon
No,
one.
get that one out of here. Get
You
that one out
you've
of
never
here.
even seen it.
Yes, I've seen it. Yes, I can picture it in my mind. I've seen it, but I'm just a big fan of the Jim Carrey one. I think it's a little weird, but like, I think you could do it. Or the newer one, I think he'd like more because it's animated and it's newer. But I like the Jim Carrey one.
Hey, I
Anyways,
don't
Jim
know.
Carrey one or the new one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Lily,
not
do you
the
like
old
the Jim
one.
Carrey one?
Can we move on?
Jordan Arnold says Jim Carrey all the way.
Jim Carrey all the way.
Oh my goodness.
I like that. I just put the pause there.
I know you did.
I just put the pause there.
What's the pause for?
It's the comic relief. It's Lily's out of
Jim
control.
Carrey all the way.
Jordan Arnold, good to see you in there. Okay.
Okay.
Oh wait. Oh, Mom already has the answer to that.
What's the answer, Mom? I want to hear it. I want to know what.
Well, in
Elizabeth
our
said.
household, Rev, he loves those shows as well, and he likes to do them back to back. So he watches the
Grinch.
animated Grinch, and then he goes watch the Jim Carrey one, which sounds like the choice of
I just like Jim Carrey so funny.
but it's because it's your generation. Like that's the one you grew up on. That's why. You've never even seen the cartoon version.
I don't think I have seen the old one. I haven't seen the new one, which I'll watch this week.
The old
I
one.
gotta do some studying.
Yeah,
some Christmas studying.
so Dwayne runs. That's Elizabeth,
she said
right?
the
Your
old
wife.
one. We're watching the old one.
Yeah, there's so much nostalgic stuff to it.
How
Okay,
about watch them all.
watch them all back to back, and I want a full documentation on the pros and cons of all of them. That's the way it goes. So
Okay.
I was
Wow.
looking for
the
the
tangents.
winky
Winky.
face on my husband's stupid iPhone, and I can't find it.
You said your iPhone was stupid, Dwayne.
She can't figure out the iPhone.
Is she a
Elizabeth on a
droid user?
tangent.
No, we are on the
Is she a-
tangent.
No,
Does she use a
Elizabeth is.
droid?
She's a droid user, yeah.
Yeah, she's not
Yeah.
found the light yet.
Well, those stupid droids are confusing. I guess.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, why are we throwing
We-
around that word?
I don't know.
I
Sorry.
can't. I
We
can't
really
wait.
must be
We
talking
get to
about
see
the
Elizabeth
Grinch.
in a couple days. Okay, let's shift a little bit here. Let's go. We're gonna have a song played here. Then we're gonna check out pictures, and then we're gonna get to Luke chapter 1. It's gonna be a fun day. We're gonna kick off the beginning of the birth of Jesus, which is gonna be a fun conversation. I picked up the book again, Case for Christ, so we might salt and pepper that through our conversation in the next few weeks. So if you'd like to extra credit yourself, like do extra reading throughout the week, A Case for Christ would be a great book for you to listen to or read. And we're going to pair those together because we're going to talk about the birth of Jesus. And there's a lot of people that would be like, oh, that didn't really happen. Well, maybe we'll be able to answer some of those questions over the next few weeks. And the exciting part of it will be it might change Christmas for you altogether because of us coming back to the real reason. So we're stoked on it. Thanks for everybody hanging in the chat this morning. We're going to do Glorious Day is the name of the song. Thank you, Lily, for making your way across the treacherous studio, tripping along the way, knocking lights over, risking your life and
Yeah,
our
you're welcome.
equipment
You're welcome.
for this list where you
Yeah.
could have just said, hey, we're going to go to Glorious Day.
I could have done that. I
Yeah,
could have. But I like to forgive you the choices.
Forgive me the
To
choices.
give you the choices.
Forgive you the
That's what it
choices.
sounded like, right?
I think she said that.
Yeah. Hey, if my wife's watching, today's her birthday.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Holly.
birthday, Holly.
She's the best, the best, the best. She's the best.
In the world.
Wow, what a song. You guys should really record that. I mean,
She's the best, the best, the best.
have you guys practiced
In
that
in
all
the
week?
world.
Wow.
I love
It's so
Joey.
good.
I love
Tall Jordan, you were once in choir,
So
right?
funny.
Yeah, you can sing.
Do, re, mi.
Ask
What's
him-
that?
He said, ask
It
can
was
they?
sounding nice. He's giving
Ask can
okay. Ask
He's
can
being,
they?
He's being very
The best,
polite.
the
Yeah,
best, the best in
There's
the
not a mean bone
world.
in Tall Jordan's body.
I don't think so.
Not one. Lily is
says
trying to
Lily.
say she
Lily.
dang.
I'm totally kidding. I haven't seen him be mean.
Wow, Lily is
It was a
on
joke.
a level. What can we do to change? Do you not have coffee over there today?
I got coffee.
Are you drinking it?
Yeah.
Do you need more?
Oh my gosh, we have been on so many
Yeah,
tangents.
let's
We gotta go.
glorious day.
Glorious
Okay.
You want me to
day.
sing it for? Or
It's
no,
a
I'm just kidding. I
glorious
can't do
day.
it.
Okay, and the whole point of these songs, in case you forget, is to just give us perspective, wind down the week. Maybe your Thanksgiving wasn't that great, and you're just like, why? And sometimes it's good to reposition our thoughts and things like that. I just was reading. Nick Orlando. I like the live-action version of cartoons, like the live-action Scooby-Doo movies.
I like the live action Scooby Doo.
Yeah, I just read it. I was like, I thought maybe he was calling this like live-action Scooby-Doo. Us right now.
Because we were talking about the Grinch.
Yeah, I got it. I was tracking.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's
Okay.
go. I like this song, so I'm excited to sing it.
Joseph Baker.
Listen.
It sounds like Harry and Lloyd singing.
Who is
That would be-
that?
Oh my goodness! That's from
Are
Dumb
you
and
talking
Dumber.
about
Dumber.
on
That was gonna
purpose?
be my first
What?
guess.
Are you doing this on purpose?
What?
No, I think he's just let's cut it to
I'm
the
having
video.
fun today. I'm enjoying
you are
people.
having fun.
I'm
It's
having fun
just-
too.
Hey,
Oh shoot!
Nick's
sometimes
already singing it. Glorious Day, la,
Sometimes
la, la.
it's fun for those that, I believe, maybe I'm wrong on this, for those that are at home watching to get to know us in our personalities, and that it's
This
yeah,
is all
it's-
made up.
it's not scripted, and it's just being because if not, then all we
Oh
do
my
is tell people that they got to clean up stuff. This is a fun way to just sit down, relax, and people get to know us. So it's a different
True.
way. So I hope
True.
you have enjoyed it. It's relaxing. Here's Glorious Day, and we'll be back with pictures and Luke chapter 1. Enjoy Glorious Day.
chains break at the weight of your glory. I needed shelter, I was an orphan, but you called me citizen of heaven. When I was broken, you are my healing. Your love is the air that I'm breathing. I have a future, my eyes are open, 'cause when you call my name, I ran out of that place, out of the darkness, into your glorious day. You call my name, and I ran out of that place, out of the darkness, into your glorious day.
Okay, that is a good song. Lily's over here shouting it. Joey's not. He was trying to mess with technology. His headphones aren't working. But I hope you like that song. Glorious Day. Let's get to. We have 3 pictures sent in, and this is always interesting for us sitting here because we don't even know what's gonna happen. So let's see who's sending in pictures on a Thanksgiving weekend. Thank you for those that sent it in. Oh,
Lily
That's
with her
me.
Christmas.
yeah,
tree.
with their selfie.
I love
I
my
feel
Christmas
hurt.
tree.
I feel hurt
love
by
my
that.
Christmas tree.
That she
I'm
cut-
no
she cut us out.
longer a Grinch. I got my very first
Yeah.
ornament yesterday.
At 27.
No, I had ornaments.
20,
in my
your first
lifetime.
ornament. No, you just said
No.
it. Your first ornament
No.
at the age of 27.
Here's
that
the
sounds
deal.
Grinchy.
No.
Listen.
does
Are
Here's
you
the
sound
not
deal.
even letting me
Grinchy.
talk? And
Here's
one
the
time
deal.
someone gave you a bad comment about that
Here's the deal.
on our other
Here's the
channel.
deal.
They thought
Here's
it
the deal.
bothered me, but it doesn't.
Ah, my head's cut off.
It does bother me.
Okay, what, Lily?
No, I had a lot of Christmas items that I shared with someone, and I no longer have those items, which is okay. But since then, I have nothing, and my friend Sam bought me an ornament that says peace, and I should have sent that picture because that would have been nicer. It's a nice ornament, and I'm very excited about it. Now I have an ornament.
Yeah, right now you have a naked tree.
No.
Yeah,
This one?
yeah.
No, mine has
Yeah,
lights. At
lights.
least yours got nothing.
Yours is
This is a vibe. That says I ran out of time.
This is the vibe. Okay, we got more
Okay, next
pictures.
picture. What?
Oh,
I'm just as
my
excited.
God. Look
What's
at
that?
how cute Blake looks right
They're
now. Are you
so
kidding me?
cute.
They're-
They're getting dedicated today. I can't wait.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
I don't.
Your family. So it's family dedication is happening.
They're getting
You're cutting my head off again, Sarah.
That shot is for when he's sitting.
Sitting.
There you
Man,
go.
Sarah.
We got it.
We got
now.
some new people at the tech table, and she's like, maybe she's saying I look better that way. I don't know. But we're doing baptism and family dedication at our location here live in Minnesota. His family's getting dedicated, which is simply family dedication is the parents are saying we're asking for help from those in the audience of this church, the community here, to help us raise our child in a way of Jesus principles. And so he's going to stand up there with his family and with those 2 lovely children and just say,
gonna be
God,
great.
this is what we're doing. And then we're going to do baptism where you dunk people underwater and stuff. It's going to be pretty cool. We got 4. Did I say 4 or 3?
Four.
4.
3,
3.
4,
Four.
I know
4.
three.
4.
Really knows.
4 people getting baptized this afternoon. So it's pretty exciting stuff. Okay, one more picture. Who could it be? No!
Setting
Look,
up, that looks
look
like
at
a
the
real
vibe.
tree.
It's a vibe.
It's a naked tree right there.
No, it's a vibe. They're going for it too.
Is
Thank
it-
you,
is
Dan
that
and
a vi-
Jennifer.
No,
for
they're
I
gonna
bet
decorate
you-
that tree.
I bet
don't
they're
know.
decorating it. and
No,
I bet you-
no.
We will see in
Well, I
about
bet- hold on.
10 seconds.
Dan and Jennifer, before you tell us you're decorating it, it doesn't look like you just went out and got that tree today. That tree's been up for a wee bit of time. So
Why do you say that?
Yeah,
because
what?
it's the morning. Unless they ran out first thing this morning and got a tree. Maybe they did that. But maybe they got it last night and they
That's
got
a really
maybe-
good point.
they got a vibe going on in their house with a tree with nothing on it. It says something. This says with lights on it. I haven't got to the ornaments yet.
It's an aesthetic, Scott.
I don't know what you speak of, but cool.
Yeah, I don't
Cool.
know.
Joey.
Cool.
Let's get to the reading.
Let's-
Dwayne, are you with us? Paging.
I'm here.
He's still here
Raging.
smiling away.
Paging.
You know what? We need we got to figure some things out for Dwayne. Like, his wife sent us the picture. Elizabeth sent a picture weeks ago of him. Remember, like
Oh my
hunkered
God,
down
table.
That was
That
the
was
best.
Dwayne he watches all of this in a screen this size. Like, that's it, right? Like a phone. So like everything's tiny. We need to help him.
We can help him.
We got to get some technology sent down to Dwayne so that he has, quoting Lily, it's only a podcast if you have a microphone like this. So when we have Dwayne and he doesn't have a mic like this, it's not a podcast. So we got to sort that out, and we got to get a computer
That'd be cool.
or something that he can see
That'd be really cool.
better. But that means you can't move around as much, Dwayne.
Yeah. A dedicated space.
You'd have to have a
have space.
dedicated
I have
space,
space.
Of some kind of. But I get you go outside. Some of it is because you have little Groms running around in your home, and so
We do. And we don't have Wi-Fi. So that's an issue.
Did you know?
Did you know before
know?
you moved?
No. Did you know in 1969 when they went to the moon, there was no Wi-Fi used to send them? That's crazy.
I just don't get how that's crazy. They used radios.
Complicated to think about with my Wi-Fi ridden brain. Okay.
I just don't see you said that the other day, and I was dumbfounded that was where you come from.
I recognize and I realize that, of course, there was no Wi-Fi. It hadn't been created yet, but it is interesting to think about.
Lily, how far does your Wi-Fi work for you?
Oh, I just know that Wi-Fi is really capable. Like,
But not very far. Like, you can't. You walk out of your place and with like.
yeah, but they
50
make Wi-Fi in different ways. Like, I'm pretty sure there's one.
No. This is like I just need to
Wait, I wanna
back
go
you.
on. I wanna
I need to
continue.
back you down from this marvel of like they went to space without Wi-Fi. There's no like, holy crap, we built a rocket to land a man on a moon. It's like they didn't have Wi-Fi. Wow, that must have been really difficult. What? What?
Yeah,
Like that's the difficulty out of the entire thing. No Wi-Fi. How'd they do it? I just don't even understand how they couldn't even DM that they landed on the moon.
No, that's silly.
That's
they have
right.
cameras. They have
Yeah.
cameras.
Yeah, but they couldn't DM people because
I almost would be willing to bet
What?
that
this
Dude
would-
Perfect just went to space, and I almost am willing to bet that they used Wi-Fi to do that. I'm just gonna say.
No, Lily,
In
radio
some capacity,
signal.
In some capacity, there's
No, it's
Joey.
no.
To be honest, never mind. I don't know.
Joey's gonna say, I don't know.
I don't.
How many
But no,
times does
why-
your Wi-Fi just cut out?
Never, except for at your
Are
house.
you kidding
Why-
me? You said the other day during our prayer meeting, "Oh, my Wi-Fi is sketchy right now. I need to reset
It's
it."
true.
Could
Okay,
you
I
imagine
didn't mean to go on another tangent. I would like to circle back.
to what saying? Would you want to take it back?
They sent them to the moon with a computer with only 10 sexes.
10
Sexes.
Seconds.
Oh my gosh!
It's not me.
It's like what
No,
was the
I
first?
just was reading. It's not that big of a deal.
Okay, Marnie goes, it's even crazier that people in 2022 don't have Wi-Fi.
Agree. That's what started this, Dwayne. Sorry.
Oh man.
Yeah.
They did use the thick extension cord for this.
Who wrote that? Who wrote that? Oh, Joseph Baker. They did use the
That
thick
was
extension.
funny, Joseph.
Yeah, I
That
wish you,
was
Joseph. I
good.
wish you
He
could see
wins.
this cord. It
He
is
wins. You
100
win.
feet
That's
to go.
hilarious, Joseph.
I don't know. What are you calling it? Maybe 20 feet.
Okay.
She's using a 100-foot cord.
So Luke, who is he?
she's trying to shift this.
I would like to shift. Shift the
Okay.
gear.
Okay. I'm just baffled that they made the wheel way back in the day without Wi-Fi.
It's crazy.
It's just ridiculous. This girl, man. I like how Joey stayed quiet on it so he did not get entangled into her web. Because usually that's what happened. These two start going in their I can't believe statements. And then you're listening going, I can't believe these two are real humans right now. Thinking that this is.
That's why I'm staying quiet.
Yeah, Joey's learning. Lily, not so much. Okay, let's go to Luke chapter 1. Luke is Now, here's the interesting thing about Luke. He is a physician, a doctor by trade. His skill sets are that. So when you read through the book of Luke, which is in the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, okay, these 4 authors are the beginning of the New Testament. So a Bible like this that I would have in my hands, and in your digital ones, it's just a little bit harder to maybe follow along. It's broken down into the Old Testament, and then you have the New Testament. And the New Testament starts with the story or the telling. When I use the word story, I don't need you to go, this is like Frodo Baggins in a ring, or a young Jedi becoming a Jedi Master, right? These aren't made up stories. These are real life encounters. And so Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John start to tell the story of how the birth of Jesus took place. Now, they all start differently. And so we'll kind of read the beginnings of all of those here in a second so you can see how the beginnings of those are different. But they all had a different audience they were writing to, which is very interesting. So the way they tell their details and stuff are geared towards either the Jewish people that are still looking for the Messiah. Another group would be to those that are questioning the miracles. A lot of Luke covers a lot of the miracles that Jesus did because he is a doctor and he can look at it and get information going, hey, as a doctor, there's no way that should happen outside of a miracle. And so that's pretty fun to read through Luke's account because he's a doctor. And so when he's giving an account on those miracles, that's pretty cool. John writes so that we might believe in Jesus. And so he uses 7 miracles, but he calls them 7 signs that point to who Jesus is, which is pretty cool. Mark, the Gospel Mark is titled Mark. Mark is the ghostwriter for Peter. Peter was not a well-educated disciple, and so he could not write in the language of that day, and so he had a ghostwriter. And so I kind of can relate to that. Whenever I sit down, somebody pins me to, I would love to write a book. I can't decide what the topic would be. That's the problem. It might just be a book of a lot of things. We might talk about Wi-Fi and technology that got the people in space. It's wild.
Yeah.
But when I do that, I'm going to need a ghostwriter. Lily has volunteered plenty of times that she would like to be that ghostwriter.
Yep.
Sometimes she's in, and then she talks about Wi-Fi in space, and then she's out. So
That doesn't have anything to do with me being able to write words down, though. So I got it.
Oh, okay, fair enough. You're back in.
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay, so that's all a big setup to get us to Luke. We're going to read the beginning of Luke. And like I said, so Old Testament, the last book of Old Testament, before we get there a little bit more, is Malachi. That's the last book of the Old Testament. And then you go, and if you flip the next page from Malachi, then you don't have a lot of information between that. If you just flip a page, you should end up bumping into Mark. Or I think it's Matthew, sorry. It goes Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So you go into Matthew's account, then you would go to Mark, and then Luke and John. This is how Mark starts, though. We're just... Because, again, I have the chronological Bible. I think Marnie said she just bought that. And this puts it in order of which they were wrote. Mark wrote his book first, then Luke, then, again, in time. I don't know if this all confuses you. I believe then John writes, and then it's Matthew. But here we go. This is how Mark starts his book. This is the good news about Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God. I always like to pause there. Good news. If we aren't telling the story of Jesus as good news, we're telling the wrong story. And then you get to Luke, and the reason why I'm using Luke is because he starts with the characters, the people involved in the Jesus story. I think Matthew goes into a big old long genealogy where he just lists off like hundreds of people, right? Isn't that how he starts? And it's like, cool. Because you can investigate all those things, just not where I want it to start today. So that's why we've jumped to Luke, because Luke starts like this. Many people have set out to write an account about the events that have been fulfilled among us. They use eyewitness reports circulating among us from the early disciples. Having carefully investigated everything from the beginning, I also have decided to write a careful account for the most honorable Theophilus, so you can be certain of the truth of everything you were taught. I love how he's just setting it up, going, listen, I'm writing this to an individual to give him all of the necessary information to believe who Jesus is. That's pretty cool. And so Luke's not pulling any punches here. He says, here's my agenda in writing this, and here is how it went down. And you got to remember, like, I think we buzzed through it. I just did, but I want to go back. Many people have set out to write an account about the events that have been fulfilled among us. Many. Not, I mean, what's a many? Like, what's, like,
A lot.
Is two? Like, right, but a lot. What's a lot? Two? I don't think so, right? You'd say a couple. Three, probably a couple. Four, you probably don't say that's a lot. Or many, you probably, I don't know. You start getting up there in numbers, like, think about when people say they have a lot of kids. Do you think they only have two? Or they have, like, eight?
Eight.
Joey, what do you think?
Wait, a lot what?
Oh, my goodness. If I had something I could throw at you, I need softer things on my table here so I can throw things at people.
I'm trying to, never mind.
What would you say, a mini? What is many people?
A lot.
It's so broad. I don't know. 100.
Ah, there we go. Lily keeps answering with a lot. Well, what is a lot?
101.
Oh my gosh. Dwayne, are you shaking your head at
2,000. Anything over 100.
2,000.
Anything over 100.
A lot. It depends who you...
Wait, Dwayne, is there a dog there barking? Because all of a sudden you go on the screen, it's like
so
you're
good.
barking.
No, the wind and things hitting the shop. So
Oh, it sounded like a dog barking. I was like, what? Okay.
nope.
What do you think many people have made or have set out to write an account about the events that have been fulfilled among us?
I don't know. I don't have a very thought out explanation for that either. So I was laughing and smiling at Lily and Joey because it's like I'd be in the same boat. Like I don't know. Like how do you quantify many? You can't. Like
I just think it's more than a couple, right? Like I'm going.
absolutely.
I'm
sure.
I'm going 10 plus. I would think that's still too little. But here's the other cool bit. Have written accounts about the events that have been fulfilled among us. What is he referring to here? Because that have been fulfilled among us. It's like when I place an Amazon order. When it arrives to my house and delivered, it says
Fulfilled. Order fulfilled.
or complete. So what you have the NIV over there?
I have the
What
NIV.
does it say there? It's Luke chapter 1,
Yep.
verse 1.
It says, many have undertaken to draw up an account of the things that have been fulfilled among us.
Does everybody's version say fulfilled?
Mine says
Yes.
fulfilled.
Okay, everybody says fulfilled. Okay. All right, so what has been fulfilled?
I'm just throwing something. Like like the things that were said in the Old Testament of the Messiah being born.
Ooh, okay, I like
The
where you're headed.
prophecies.
The prophecies.
Prophecies.
Okay, somebody finally ding, ding, ding. That's the... We need better sound effects every time. This is I had to put a check mark on there so it's like winning. It sounds more like time to fight bell. Anyways, that's it. Prophecy. What is prophecy, though? Because that is a term that we do not use in our normal everyday life, but it's something to be understood when studying the Bible. What is a prophet, Dwayne?
So a prophet is someone that has received word from God of something that would take place.
Okay, I like that. Now, where do we see this in culture that there's a version of a prophet, but people pay for? Lily.
Oh,
that does a
gosh.
similar thing, but not with the God
that
component.
people pay for?
People pay for. It's a similar to a prophet, but it is not of God.
Like readings.
Like, what is that? Like,
Fortune
Like
teller.
fortune
teller, there you
palm,
go.
Palm readings.
yes. So as we're talking about some of these things, we want to put, again, salt and pepper in some of those other truths. There's always the truth. And that truth resides in Jesus and Jesus' principles and a whole bunch of things in there, right? That's why we want to learn those things. Then there's this version that is close to it, but it's not 100% truth. It's usually the enemy trying to dupe us. So a prophet is an individual inspired by God that has future plans they know of, that they're trying to inform people of what's happening. They don't exist. There's not, the Bible's not continuing to be wrote today. So there's not prophets running around writing books today. This is definitely something we see in here. Doesn't mean that God can't work through somebody and somebody feels like, hey, this is what God's speaking to me. I don't understand all the ways of God, so I'm not trying to put him in a box. But a prophet was an individual that heard from God and then wrote. Like, we're going to go, if you want to put a piece of paper in Luke chapter 1 there, and we're going to go back to Malachi. Malachi is a prophet, an individual that got word from God, and he wrote it down. We're going to read it in a second. But a psychic, a fortune teller, a sign reader, whatever you want to call it, that is not of God. That is the enemy using something that is close to what a godly thing is, which is a prophet. And we can get so drawn into those that I want to know the future, I want to know this. How do those things come true then? Because if, let's say I predicted for Joey that something's going to happen that I could still make happen, I could predict it and make it happen. Like, Joey, when you go to family dedication day, I bet you that somebody's going to offer you an entirely new outfit. And he'd be like, how would you know that? I don't know. I just have that feeling that I do. And all of a sudden, behind the scenes, I get somebody to show up there with a whole new outfit. What did I do? I predict the future, but I made the future happen. When you come to the psychic world and all those things that people want to dabble into because there's this attraction to knowing the unknown, it is the enemy trying to dupe you to put your trust in the wrong stuff, get yourself off the real thing and into something that seems like, oh, wow, there's really a lot of power in things in here, and it's just something that they can, and it's a big conversation. We're just going to skip like a rock on it and just kind of get back to the story, but it's worth mentioning. So if somebody ever asked me, should I go see a psychic or go have my palms read or any of those things that are in that? No, because that is not of the Jesus kingdom. And so I'm sure I got a lot of questions people want to ask on that. But again, it's the enemy trying to be close to what God's trying to do. So because what happens if the enemy can look like a version of God, people won't catch it. The authors in the Bible record Jesus saying the enemy is like a sheep or a wolf in sheep's clothing. That you got to pay attention. That it looks like, but it isn't. The enemy works oftentimes as a wolf in sheep's clothing. Okay, so we just read in Luke chapter 1, many have set out to write an account about the events that have been fulfilled among us. I asked Joey, what were those things that have been fulfilled among us? Here is what Micah says in Micah chapter 3, verse 5. Not Micah. Every time I say that, somebody needs to give
Malachi.
I got you.
Malachi.
Give
Give me this sound.
3 verse 20.
Yeah, Malachi 3, verse 1.
Oh, 3:1.
This is what Malachi says to the people 400 years before Luke. 400 years. Okay, here he goes. Look, I'm sending my messenger, and he will prepare the way before me. Then the Lord you are seeking will suddenly come to his temple. The messenger of the covenant whom you look for, so eagerly is surely coming, says the Lord from the heavens' armies. We're going to pause there. That's just a paragraph of a whole long thing. That's the setup of John the Baptist and Jesus. Very crucial. John the Baptist is the messenger. So go back to that. Can we put it on the screen? Look, I'm sending you the messenger. That's John the Baptist. And then it says he will prepare the way before me. Then the Lord you are seeking will suddenly come to his temple. That's Jesus.
That's cool.
Okay, so this is important for us as followers of Jesus. This is 400 years before the Jesus story starts to take place. Massive deal. Big stuff being stated here. And so Luke starts off with, I'm going to give you a very well studied and complete investigative report on that it's been, again, that accounts about events that have been fulfilled among us, that this has happened 400 years. Now, think about this. 400 years, we read the Bible. Let's say you're on a quest to read through the entire Bible, and you read through the whole Bible, and you get to Malachi. You get done with it. And you and I, literally, we just do this. I mean, it's just turn a page and you start reading the gospel of now the Messiah is coming and John the Baptist is coming. You're like, whoo, that's amazing. 400 years of silence. Like, no recorded words of God speaking or doing anything like monumental. Now, the Jewish nation was still being prosperous. They were still growing and things of that nature. But no God moments where we're reading it in here. 400 years of silence. When I was thinking about that the other day, it's like the question is, what do you do in your life when God's been silent for like a day? We're talking about these people that are looking for some answer died without the answer. I think that's worth noting. If you're in a moment of God, when God is silent, what do you do? We'll answer that question. So we go into verse 5 of Luke. When this begins the storytelling or the actual accounts being documented in Luke that kick off the Christmas story. So here it is. When Herod was king of Judah, there was a Jewish priest named Zechariah. Now, this is important when names are dropped because you can use other history books to fact check Luke. That's what Luke's trying to do for Theophilus. Is like, here, I'm going to give you some names that you can make sure this is accurate and where they were at the time. So when King Herod was king of Judah, this is a big deal because King Herod was a hired king for the Jewish nation in Judea because the Roman Empire had taken over the place, and so they put in a king. King Herod was a hired king. He wasn't even a birthright king. He was just put in there to take care of this little place. He was a member of he being Zechariah, he was a member of the priestly order of Abijah, and his wife, Elizabeth, was also from the priestly line of Aaron. Zechariah and Elizabeth were righteous in God's eyes, careful to obey all of the Lord's commands and regulations. I want to pause there. Because, man, I hope when people tell stories about me, like those that are in the chat that you know us through this, it would be interesting to be on a fly wall, only if it's encouraging and kind words. How do you describe us to people?
They'd probably say funny today.
Maybe, or maybe they don't find us funny.
Well, I think we're funny.
Well,
but
yeah.
But here is Luke describing through the accounts of people. Hey, it's like me coming to Joey, tell me, what's Blake like? Describe Blake to me, right? And you begin to describe Blake because you've been around her more than I have.
Yeah.
So and then I write down in my story of Blake was blank, blank, blank. So this is Luke recording what people are saying about Zechariah and about Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Which is pretty wild that they said, in some form or another, they were righteous in God's eyes, carefully to obey all the Lord's commandments and regulations. We're talking about 400 years of God not showing up, being anywhere, doing anything enough for it to be written into the Bible. And here we go. These guys are considered righteous in God's eyes, careful to obey all the Lord's commandments and regulations. Why are they doing that? Why? What is the reason for that? 400 years of silence. Because a lot of people, when there's silence, when people aren't being communicated with, a lot of leadership books you read, they talk about vision leaks. So you kind of lose it. You forget what's actually you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to Micah 4:4. No, Malachi. Lily, you
Micah,
didn't correct me.
Malachi.
Well, I know where we're going.
Yeah, but those
But
at home
people
might
don't.
not.
Yeah, I can read it.
You want to read it?
Sure.
What version are you reading
I have
from?
NLT right here.
Okay, Lily's going to read it. This
This is
again,
Malachi 4:4.
and he's a prophet. He's communicating on God's behalf to God's people, saying, here, this is what I want you to do. This is how you're supposed to function. And listen carefully. This is pretty wild.
Okay. Remember to obey the law of Moses, my servant, all the decrees and regulations that I gave him on Mount Sinai for all Israel.
Okay. What did he say again? My servants,
Remember to obey the law of Moses.
the decrees and regulations I gave him. So the 10 Commandments, all the principles that you and I are still trying to apply today, that's like
what they're left with.
right. Literally, this is the next paragraph. This is the last couple verses before radio silence. Wi-Fi cut out. Here we go. Look, I'm sending you my prophet Elijah, which before the great and dreadful day of the Lord's arrives. His preaching will turn the hearts of the fathers to their children and the hearts of the children to their fathers. Otherwise, I will come and strike the land with a curse. That is, again, a point to John the Baptist. Okay, so it's a reminder, hey, this is all going to take place when John the Baptist shows up. Now, they don't know there was no name here, John the Baptist. Look for John the Baptist. His name will be John the Baptist. And it's going to happen 400 years from now. It's like, this is going to happen. I'm out. That's it. So if you're in a season of waiting for God, what do you do? Joey. The answer is right here. The answer is right there. Yeah, that's right, Joey. I'm putting you on the spot.
It's in Malachi 4:4.
I'm in the wrong spot.
No, and it's
Trust.
in Luke. Trust is great. Great, but no.
4:4. Remember the law.
Hey, so what?
So remember what
What does
God
it mean?
said.
Yeah, but what is he saying? Remember, he's not like, hey, Joe, remember that one time when you threw a water balloon at my face and made my face bleed? He's not saying remember when. What's he meaning with this? Remember my commands. What is he trying to communicate?
Remember, I don't know. Remember what I said. Remember.
Hold on. Do you want Blake just to remember what you said to her?
No, I want her to obey.
So when he's saying remember, what's he really saying?
Be obedient.
There you go. He's saying God's trying to say to us, you, me, and them, is to remember, which means to obey, to practice my commandment, to not forget these things.
So are you saying that remembering it is the first part of it?
Remember, I want to move past the word. I want to replace the word remember, because I think that is just like recalling in our mind, oh, that's such a good story, right? Like to play out all the stories we've had here. It's not remember. It's the application of the commandments. Because remember what we find is Zechariah and Elizabeth were righteous in God's eyes, carefully to obey all of the Lord's commandments and regulations.
Right.
They didn't remember them only. They applied them.
Yeah.
There's application. And here's the wild bit is that Zechariah and Sarah, they didn't ever hear from Malachi alive. It was passed down by generation and generation, and they believed it, and they didn't know when John the Baptist was going to come, and they didn't know when Jesus was going to come. For 400 years, they're like, it could be now, it could be later. All I know is that at some point, God's going to do what he said he's going to do. I just don't know when.
So I'm going to keep obeying in the meantime.
Right, so if you're in radio silence with God and you're wanting an answer on do I stay or go in a relationship, do I get a new job, do I quit my job, and you don't hear anything, you are to continue to apply Jesus' principles. You're to love your enemies as yourself. You are to give generously. You are to serve one another. You are to just one another each other. And don't judge others. Like there's a whole bunch of things. While we're waiting for the answer in our radio silence, we are to be applying Jesus' principles or the commands. But I think what happens is we get disgruntled in all these things in the radio silence is like, God, I'm angry at you now. And it's like, what? Why are you angry? We don't read here that Zachariah and Elizabeth are angry. Here's what Luke writes, like just on so they're in darkness because God's not talking to anyone, them as well. But listen to what's happening next. They had no children because Elizabeth was unable to conceive, and they were both very old. So we're talking about wrinkly people here. They old. They're past the childbearing years. And in that culture, your clout, especially for a woman, was to have kids. That was like, wow, you have a lot of kids. Well, you're just blessed, right? There's a lot of things attached to kids. Well, these two, now I'm assuming, as I have friends that have just had seasons of struggling to get pregnant, and that darkness that's over them, praying, God, when let us have a kid, let us have a kid. Here they are, well into your past. You don't think they're in like really dark times? God, where are you at? You're not even sending John the Baptist yet. And again, I'm using a name they didn't know it was John the Baptist, but you're not sending this Elijah kind of person, and you're not sending the Messiah yet. Where are you at there? And then why are you letting me be so embarrassed with no child? And they're waiting and waiting and waiting. What do you do when you're waiting for God to answer? What do you do when you're waiting for God to fix your marriage or fix your spouse? They're a hot mess. Or, God, why do I continue to struggle with drinking too much? Why do I struggle with saying things I wish I wouldn't say? Why do I continue? While you're waiting, you are to continue to apply Jesus principles.
Yep.
That's it. You want to know what to do. In the meantime, stay the course. Don't quit that job unless God's told you to quit that job. There's, as a guy that's like been a pastor for a while, when I'm dealing with people that are like, oh, I'm looking for a new job. Why? I quit my job. Why? I just didn't like it there. It's like, wait, you weren't led to do that? It was just because that's not led by Jesus. Here's a scary bit and I know this in my own life. When we are in a dark season, our feelings and emotions are really strong. Mm-hmm. We're uber sensitive to everything. And if we're led by our feelings, we are being led astray. You probably should write that down somewhere. If we're led by our feelings, we're being led astray. We are to be led by what or who, Lily?
Jesus.
Thank you for saying that with some conviction there. That's great.
Yeah.
That's who we're supposed to be led by.
Leader.
If he's not calling you out to do something, then stay put.
He's not influenced by our emotions. He cares about them.
Right.
But the way he guides us and the way he leads us are not dependent on how we're feeling. He's a good leader. You should trust him.
You should, yes. Yeah. And it's like, well, how do I know? How do I know what I'm supposed to do? You just hang around here on Sundays. We'll teach you Jesus principles, but pick up your Bible and read. I mean, again, I just look at these two amazing human beings that I've never got the privilege to meet because they died a long time ago. But here they are, 400 years of silence from God, and then they got their own personal stuff they're walking through that they want answers to, and they don't got it yet. Listen to what they kept doing as well, okay? And again, if you're like, why are we kicking this? This is the beginning to the Christmas story. You got to have this context because this is strong. This should be like, whoa! We just read. I know for us, there's so much lack of context because we didn't get this information 400 years ago. We get to read it and flip a page. But this is wow. This is crazy, crazy stuff. And so here's where here we go. So Luke continues. One day, Zechariah was serving God in the temple, for his order was on duty that week.
Are we going to pause there?
Would you like to pause there?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you said, what did they continue to do? And what I read is that A, they continue to go to church, they continue to gather with a community, and B, they continue to serve in said church. Why might that be an important note? Why might that be an important
Okay,
note?
say that again, Lil.
Oh, I said that Zechariah and maybe Elizabeth, maybe we don't know the details, but
Yeah, no, it said Zechariah was serving in the temple. for his order was on duty that week. So it's a family thing in that day.
But just what I'm saying is that what they continued to do was go to church and serve.
Okay.
Okay.
They didn't stop. They didn't get angry at God going, I'm not going to temple anymore in their context. I'm not going to temple anymore because you're not showing up. I'm going to force you to talk to me, God. I'm going to force you to do something to my problem. They
Like-
continued.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to do my part even though I'm not hearing anything. And I just feel like our actions, especially when they come from the right place in our heart, if it's coming from the wrong place and it's from the wrong heart, then you need to stop and reflect and get in the right heart. But we can do things while we're waiting.
Yeah,
know?
you can keep. Here's what I think. Again, think about the darkness they're in. They're in a dark spot for probably many years. And what I wrote here, I had to fold back my Bible because I wrote it like in the crease. They continued to do life with people. How many times in darkness do you just retreat? How many times when you're just in a low spot, you don't have clarity, you don't know what direction to go into, you're embarrassed by something, what do? This isn't just selection of people, this is all people, our tendency is to retreat away from people. That's dangerous. Like, if that's what people naturally do, why wouldn't we get angry when we do that? We should be like, crap, I'm just doing what my instincts are telling me to do, to retreat. But if you're trying to obey Jesus' principles, you should step forward, lean into your community. You should say, hey, I'm not at my best right now, and that's okay. You know how many people I've had in my house that have called up and said, hey, I'm not at my best, but can I come hang out? And they just sit on the couch, and it is a little bit like, man, your heart goes out to them. They're just sitting there, but they're not doing life alone. They can all of a sudden, sitting in community, they can laugh a little bit because they look over and one of the kids do something silly. Or like, hey, let's go throw the football around. Or whatever they're into. It starts to pull them out of the minutia of the darkness, and they can start seeing, oh, there is a little bit of good in the world. There's still hope. Okay, this is helping me get out of the funk I'm in. And so we see Elizabeth and we see Zachariah doing that. They're going to the temple. They were volunteering. I mean, they're showing up and volunteering. Let's continue. As was the custom of the priest, he was chosen by lots to enter the sanctuary of the Lord and burn incense. While the incense was being burned, a great crowd stood outside praying. Context in this, it was a process. We don't have a bunch of time because I want to get through this whole story in the next 5 minutes. Lots is pretty much drawing straws, right? And it's like, okay, you're the one to go in. A lot of times these priests had a rope tied to them and bells on their legs, because if they got in there and they weren't purified right and all these things, they would just be like killed. And then if the bell stopped jingling, you're like pulling back out kind of situation, right? And so he goes in there, he's selected. It's a bit of a scary thing because you're like, I hope everything's good. I hope I have been faithful in all the commands that God has told me 400 years ago I'm still listening to. I hope that my darkness isn't disqualifying me from this. An interesting thing, the darkness that he's probably sitting in didn't disqualify him to go into the presence of God and offer a burnt sacrifice, worship God, give God credit. Your darkness doesn't eliminate you from spending time with God, doesn't disqualify you to give praise and worship to God. It's actually the antidote to your darkness. It's what begins to take you out and bring light into those moments. Let's continue, or I will continue. While Zechariah was in the sanctuary, the angel of the Lord appeared to him, standing to the right of the incense altar. Zechariah was shaken and overwhelmed with fear when he saw him. But the angel said, don't be afraid, Zechariah. God has heard your prayer. There's a whole lot there. God has heard your prayer. You've been praying in the darkness, that means. So we've just learned two things to do when God's silent. We don't know where God is. We're in darkness. However short or long it is, what is the first things we do? We get around people and you pray. Obviously, Elizabeth and Zechariah are praying. Prayer is conversation with God. God, I need help. It's a dark moment. God, I would love this. I need this direction. It's conversation. It's an open dialogue with God. Dwayne, what do you think makes it so hard, these two things in darkness, to be around people and to pray to God? What makes it so hard? Because you just know, though this is like the answer, it's very hard, the application of it. What makes that difficult, Dwayne?
Well, I mean, I think what makes it hard is we feel isolated. We feel disconnected from other people. So, they don't understand what I'm going through. They don't know my story. So like we just feel isolated. I think that's the hard part about being around people when we're going through darkness is that like no one really understands.
Yeah. I think the other thing with that is that some people feel, well, if I'm around people, I have to fake it. I have to put on a show now that everything's all right. And that's not the case. I think it's best when people tell people hey, I'm not okay today, but I'll come over. It's like, thank you for giving me the context of your situation. Maybe I can say something that can help you, but maybe you just have a good time hanging. I think context is everything for people instead of faking it.
Yeah. It's good.
It's a game changer. Right? It's like a lot of you, if you're catching on or paying attention, Dwayne and I are running a marathon together on Saturday. And if I showed up and didn't disclose an injury and then I go and run and it's like, okay, I can't keep up, you got to go. They're going to go, oh man, his training must have just gone all haywire. He must have not really done his thing. And then at the end of the race, I say, oh no, I broke my ankle 2 days before and I got to go get a cast on it after this. All of a sudden the context is everything, because then for Dwayne, he's going, oh, well, shoot, if that's the context, let me help you get through this. You can lean on me a little bit. You got a broken ankle. I had no idea. I just thought haywire training or something. Context is everything for people on the outside of the situation, because then we know how to handle the situation, right, Dwayne?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm not
We
telling
know
you.
what the other person's kind of walking through, so we kind of know where to step in, kind of where to offer that shoulder to lean on.
Yes. Okay, let's continue in the story. God has heard your prayer. Your wife Elizabeth will give you a son, and you are to name him John. Again, going back, then all of a sudden, you've been selected, Zechariah, to fulfill the last thing God has said to his people 400 years ago. This has got to be the craziest moment in his life, I'm sure of it. Probably not only is he going, wait, hold on, my wife who's very old is having a child, I don't understand that, but now it's going to be John, and he's going to be what? The angel continues, you will have great joy and gladness, and many will rejoice at his birth. For he will be great in the eyes of the Lord. He must never touch wine or any other alcoholic beverage. He will be filled with the Holy Spirit even before his birth. And he will turn many Israelites to the Lord their God. He will be a man with the spirit and the power of Elijah. He will prepare the people for the coming of the Lord. He will turn the hearts of the fathers to their children, and he will cause those who are rebellious to accept the wisdom of the godly.
Let's go.
I mean, come on. You're standing there, and angels talk to you. All of a sudden, you start going. Because, again, in his position, he knows Malachi really well. He studied it. He's got it memorized.
I mean, as soon as the angel said Elijah, he's probably like,
What? Yeah, remember what we just read back in
this is going to be my son?
Micah or Malachi 7:4.
Malachi. You're catching yourself now.
Look, I'm sending you a prophet Elijah before the great and dreadful day of the Lord's arrival. Okay, right there. Boom.
There it is.
Confirmed. Through this, I got this big miraculous plan. This woman that's way, way too old to even have a child. You haven't had any kids, and here's why. When we get on the other side of darkness and we can see why we had to go through that or what caused that, all of a sudden there are things we could either A, prevent it, or 2, there was a reason I walked through it. I had to learn. Hello. Here was Zechariah's response. Zechariah said to the angel, how can I be sure this will happen? I am old. I'm an old man and my wife is well along in years. How can I be sure? How can I know? You know, a lot of people talk about it's okay to question God. When I was reading this, it's like, hold on. Is it really okay to question God in God's character, in God's ability? Because when I see that through the scriptures, there's also usually a consequence that comes on the other side of that kind of questioning. Now, we see some questions of like, not how can I be sure? How can I know this is going to happen, right? How can I know? later on in the story of this, we're going to get to Mary's encounter with an angel, and she says, okay, how's this going to be? I'm a virgin. Like, I'm not computing what you're saying. Give me understanding. She's asking questions for understanding. He's asking, I want to know, is this really God? How can I be sure that this is God? Because look, I'm an old man. It's okay to question God with the right heart, not question who God is. Big difference. Listen, so he questions God. Then the angel said, I'm Gabriel. I got to think he's upset at this point because he gives his name. I'm Gabriel. I stand in the very presence of God. It was he who sent me bringing you this good news. But now since you didn't believe what I said, you will be silent and unable to speak until the child is born. For my words will certainly be fulfilled at the proper time. Sounds angry.
Yeah. Lost his words,
Very.
lost his speech.
Meanwhile, the people were waiting for Zechariah to come out of the sanctuary, wondering why he was taking so long. When he finally did come out, he couldn't speak to them. They realized from his gestures that he had been silent, and he must have seen a vision in the sanctuary. Then Zechariah's week of service in the temple was over. He returned home. Soon after, his wife Elizabeth became pregnant and went into seclusion for 5 months. How kind the Lord is, she explained. He has taken away my disgrace of having no child. When I read that of Elizabeth, I just go, God was waiting for the right time. And your time and my time is now. And he's going, hey, if you just wait a little bit, this is going to change the world. See, we live we have this perspective that it's our world and everything's about us. And God's like, no, it's about you and I love you. But what I want to do through you and in you is for everybody. I want to make a big impact in people's lives. And so the darkness that they had to sit in, they wanted to get over fast. Obviously, they were praying about it. And God's like, hey, my timing, it's going to be over, but it's going to be glorious. Generations will know of what I am doing. So, if I again, I'm just reading ahead here really quick to see where we want to. I think we're gonna call it quits there today. But I want to give you three things, maybe four things, and we've already stated, to kick darkness to the side. First, it starts with obedience of Jesus' principles. It's to pray. It's to be around community and read the Bible. Because that's what Elizabeth and Zechariah did, and the results are game-changing. My question to you is, are you obedient in God's principles? In his commands? Have you kept his commands? I cannot stress 400 years. I want to go back to Malachi 3. We read this part. I'm going to reread it, and then I'm going to continue to read. Look, I'm sending my messenger. Remember, that's John the Baptist. And he will prepare the way before me. Then the Lord you are seeking will suddenly come to his temple. That's Jesus. The messenger of the covenant who you look for so eagerly is surely coming, says the Lord of the heavens armies. Like, Elizabeth and Zechariah held on to that. They believed. Now it continues. But who will be able to endure it when he comes? Again, he being Jesus. Who will be able to stand and face him when he appears? For he will be like a blazing fire that refines metal, or like strong soap that bleaches clothes. He will sit like a refiner of silver, burning away the dross. He will purify the Levites, refining them like gold and silver, so they may once again offer acceptable sacrifices to the Lord. Then, once more, the Lord will accept the offerings brought to him by the people of Judah and Jerusalem, as he did in the past. This is a setup of, hey, what's Jesus come to do? Jesus come to purify us, to make him more like him. I think it's a beautiful picture. This is who the Israelites were looking for. But to call out the Levites, that's the prophet speaking on God's behalf, trying to say, listen, Israel leaders, pay attention. Don't be duped. You better be ready for this. You should be especially open to the idea of the Messiah. Yet that's the group of people that struggled the most, were the religious leaders. And the prophet speaks to it saying, hey, you're going to struggle with this, but if you read this and apply this in our obedience, you won't. And that is saved and reserved for all of us as well. We can read these things today and go, cool, great story, love it. It's a good setup to the Christmas story. I'm really excited about this. But with no application, it's like skipping rocks on water. It just skips across and never gets wet. It's just doo-doo-doo. And eventually, right, a rock sinks in. But just that analogy of the rock skipping. You can let this you bounce off the water and just get on the other side of the land and you're good. Or you can sit there and go, I'm going to be saturated with this story and know that there's still greater days in your life if you're walking through darkness. That what you need to be doing while you sit in your darkness is be obedient to Jesus' principles, to pray, to communicate. I would like this to be finished, to be inside a community. Log on every Sunday with us. Hang out with us. Be open if you're struggling. And some of you are really good with that. Hey, having a hard week, could use some prayer. Read the Bible. Like, not just on Sundays, but read this because that's going to counteract that darkness. And in that, you'll begin to see the darkness subside. But I can't tell you how long. I mean, there's no timetable here. So I want to use, again, this is the setup because John the Baptist has to come before Jesus can be born. Next week, we're going to pick up with, in the 6th month of Elizabeth's pregnancy, God sent an angel, Gabriel, to Nazareth, to a village of Galilee, to a virgin named Mary. We're going to talk about that story next week. And what can we be learning from that story as we get into the Christmas season? And I want this year, the holidays, to be different than it ever has been for you, ever. So I hope you've enjoyed today.
Can I add something, Scott?
Yeah, Dwayne, let's hear it.
Yeah. So, like, for me, the thing that excites me about this is, like, yes, God may have been silent during that 400 years, but God wasn't gone. God wasn't God was still working. So, like, he still was doing things in their lives. He was still waiting for that right time. So, even when it feels like it's really dark and you're just at a place, like, just understand that, hey, God is still in control and God is still working out. God is still working for your behalf and for his glory. And, it gives you hope that, hey, I've seen who God is. I've read who God is and I've seen his character. So I know that, hey, God is still here. God is still working. You look at the Old Testament where it ends, you have your prophets, that was a relationship that the Israelites had with God is, okay, God is speaking to me through these people, these prophets. Now that relationship changed a little bit to where now, okay, I can look around, God is still working, but like the words are not there. And then the next time it's, where we're getting into is, hey, this relationship has changed yet again. And now we have Jesus. So, it's just kind of interesting, as we go through life, our relationship with God is going to change, is going to evolve, just like a relationship with everyone changes. So it's just kind of neat to see that of kind of evolution of kind of relationship with God.
Well, I like that perspective because, again, I think people can think, oh, it just stays the same. I find Jesus and my relationship with him is this. No, it does change. I like that. I like that perspective there, Dwayne. I'm excited about this, to be able to read this. I thought to pause from 1 Peter to get into the Christmas story and for all of us to read through it and stop and really take count of what happens. Because I think sometimes during this holiday season, people just read the story to make sure you hear the story, but you're not putting yourself in the shoes and going, hold on. I never had really thought about Elizabeth and Zechariah being in a really dark spot. That 40 years of silence from God, and they can't have a child that's pretty dark. And so I hope somebody pulled something out of that today that applies in their life and can make your life better. Dwayne, thanks for hanging with us today. I can't wait to be down there with you. And let me pray, and then we'll end today. Jesus, I thank you for everybody in the chat today, and those that listen to this throughout the week. I ask that you show up and show off in their lives, that there would be something that was read today that was an aha moment where you speak to them that changes their life forever, that there's an application of your commands and your principles into our lives, and that for those that are in darkness, may they take those 4 things and just force themselves to do it, though they don't feel like it. That they just force themselves to read the Bible or to pray or to get involved in a community. That there would be obedience to things, God. That there would be a change in their lives in this. I know this doesn't mean immediately the lights come on and darkness is gone, but you're there, and we may not forget those things. I thank you for the authors in the Bible that have wrote down the words so that it might inspire us today, over 2,000 years ago from your birth, Jesus. And I'm grateful for the story that we get to read, and may it just increase our faith in what you can do. Jesus, we love you in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Man.
Thank you, everybody at home. Hey, if you would love to give, we as a church, if you showed up in a facility, there would be a bucket passed around perhaps, and they go, hey, tithes and offering. Tithes is 10% of your income, and offerings is above that. And again, your resources and how you use those really indicate your heart. And Jesus talks a whole bunch on that. And we always like to set these up like this with these little thoughts, because it's not, we do this because this is what churches do. When we talk about we read through the whole Bible, we really truly read through the whole Bible, and we apply all of those. And Jesus talks about it. The Old Testament authors talk about giving a percentage of our resources. Jesus talks about doing that. It's a wrestle for everybody. This is between you at home and not me. I'm not involved in this. This is what is Jesus saying to you with your resources, and what are you going to do about it. We make it easy for you to be able to give. Lil, how easy do we make that?
Super easy. You can go to unlockchurch.com/give, or you can text the word unlock to 77977.
Okay. Thank you, everybody that do give, and you're helping. Your resources do help us do what we do. There is a lot of truth to that. Like the light that Lily broke today. No, she didn't break it. I was just messing. She didn't even laugh on that one. Still not laughing, Lil.
It's not funny.
Oh, okay. Just checking. Hey, I hope everybody has a great rest of the weekend. I hope some of you are going to decorate over the next few weeks, or maybe you're just going to enjoy your Christmas lights today. Enjoy them. Merry early Christmas, and we'll be next week talking about Mary's encounter with an angel, talking about Jesus. Love you guys. Have a great Sunday.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.